Welcome to Red Flags in Reality, the part of the show where we take the headlines you might scroll past and turn them into lessons that actually make you safer. Today we're in the during phase of the timeline, managing physical violence in the moment with Rory Miller, who spent a lifetime doing that. But before we get to my interview with Rory, let's do the headlines. Let's start with something counterintuitive. In the 1980s, the Minneapolis Domestic Violence Experiment tested how police responded to domestic violence calls. They tried three approaches: arresting the aggressor, separating the parties for a cooling off period, or just giving advice. And here's what shocked them. Arrest cut repeat violence almost in half. Advice and cooling off barely made a difference. The study reshaped how departments handle domestic violence, and for you, it's a lesson for you in the moment. Firm consequences stop escalation better than half measures. When someone is crossing the line, you don't negotiate with chaos, you draw the line hard and fast. Now let's look at the bigger picture. Glasgow, Scotland used to be one of the most violent cities in Europe. Then they did something radical. They created a violence reduction unit that sent former offenders into communities to mediate conflicts, offered job programs for at-risk youth, and mapped out hotspots like you track an outbreak. And it worked. Stabbings dropped and youth violence plummeted. This wasn't about going soft, it was about using a smarter strategy in the heat of the moment. The takeaway? Sometimes the most effective way to handle violence isn't force versus force. It's getting ahead of the next strike by changing the environment on the fly. And here's one thing that might challenge how you think about violent people. A growing body of research shows that many men who commit domestic or street violence are dealing with untreated trauma, identity crises, and deep emotional dysregulation. In Australia, programs like Men's Behavior Change are stepping in early, teaching emotional regulation and accountability. Does that excuse what they do? Absolutely not. But it tells us something important. When you're in a violent encounter, you're often dealing with someone who's not operating from a rational, calm place. They're overwhelmed, reactive, and unpredictable, which means your best tools in that moment aren't just your fists, they're your ability to stay calm, read the cues, and manage the chaos. And here's some science to back it up. Public health programs like Cure Violence in the US show that when people are trained to de-escalate and emotionally regulate in crisis moments, violence drops dramatically. The data is clear. Managing the moment isn't about being the toughest person in the room, it's about staying clear-headed when nobody else can.